Okay, welcome to the call, everybody. It's 5 past the hour. We'll get this cranking. My name's Dan Doyle from Sydney, Australia. I'm going to talk to you about a company called ASEA. It's an introduction to the company, to this breakthrough technology, and to their incredible products. At the end of the information that we give you, we're going to open up the lines for anybody who wants to talk about anything that they've experienced on the product. Any questions that anybody wants answered, or any comments that anybody wants made. Welcome, Florida. Hi, Sandy.
Hey, Danny.
Hi. We've just kicked off. So what you're going to hear about today is nothing less than the single greatest health science, anti-aging, and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. So I'm just going to repeat that one more time. Open your minds up. The single greatest health science, anti-aging, and sports performance breakthrough of our lifetime. So we're going to talk about these incredible products, this breakthrough, this technology, what this could potentially do for your body. There's several reasons why people would look at ASEA, would look at these products. The first one is that you may have a health challenge, and even if you don't think you do, you've still got that issue called aging. You may have a loved one, somebody that you know, a family friend or family member or friend that has a health challenge. You may not like the way that you're looking anymore or feeling anymore as you get older. You may understand the concept of looking after yourself when it comes to eating properly, nutrition, and exercise. You may be an athlete and you're looking for a little bit of an edge, or you could be looking for an opportunity. So for me, the reason that I looked at this breakthrough technology, this company ASEA, was because of my health. I had a very, very serious health challenge, one that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And what I went through throughout my journey, through the time I spent in a hospital here in Sydney, which was my second home for 2.5 years, what I experienced in that hospital, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. So Steve's going to put up a picture of what I used to look like back in those days in 2011 when I got that bad news and what I went through. And you can just imagine, and we're not going to mention any conditions here today. This isn't a pharmaceutical. We can't say it's a cure for anything. What these products do, ASEA and Renew 28, they're products and technology that can empower the body to heal itself. So ASEA and Renew 28 are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical condition or disease. So back in 2011, I found myself in this condition. In 2012, 2013, with those hospital visits, I didn't have any hair on my body back then. So you can just imagine what I was going through, which, as I said, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Putting on a brave face, a fake smile. I had a friend of mine next to me in this photo who was only 22 years old. He was about 20, 21 at the time, but we lost him at 22 of a very similar issue that I had. So this was a horrendous time. At the end of that 2.5 years, the doctors told me to get my affairs in order. So at that point, I decided to take the responsibility for my own health into my own hands. And for 2 years, I was on a pristine diet from all the research that I did. So I went on an alkaline diet. I stopped drinking alcohol. I didn't eat any red meat anymore or chicken. I added nutritional supplements, super juices, antioxidants, and all sorts of things to try and empower my body to heal itself. And unfortunately, after those 2 years, the results weren't great. There weren't any results at all, actually. So apart from having a little bit more hair, I looked the same, I felt the same, and my test results were the same as they were before. So you can see by my skin and how I looked that what you were seeing on the outside was a direct reflection of what was happening on the inside. So I wasn't healthy at all. I was at this point, this is in October 2014, I got a phone call from a friend of mine, Bart Cotter, and Bart's from Noosa, but he happened to be in Utah at the time, and he rang me up. He said, I think I've found something that could help. So within a short few days, I found myself on a plane heading to Salt Lake City in Utah to a company called ASEA, to their headquarters. Now, ASEA is a cellular health company. So we're in the boardroom listening to the science behind this breakthrough, which was going over my head. But all I recalled from the conversation or from what we were hearing that in this bottle was something that was 100% non-toxic and could have health benefits. So we were sitting there listening to the presentation, gorging this stuff. We're getting it down as quick as possible. While I was sitting there, I went through about half a bottle. I went back to the hotel room to have a shower after the meeting to get ready for dinner, took off my shirt, and I had red spots all over my back, my chest, and my shoulders. What I had achieved in 3 hours by drinking this stuff, I'd been trying to achieve for 2 years on that pristine diet. Not realizing it at the time, I was going through a major detox. So that was my first breakthrough, just within a short few hours with drinking this stuff in this bottle, still not knowing what it was at the time. The next morning I get up to go to breakfast, and for me, coffee is essential in the morning. I'm having one right now. But for 20 years, I've had a caffeine intolerance. Any more than 2 coffees on any particular day, I'm buckled over in agony all day. And the next morning, I decided to put this stuff that we drank to the test, and I had 6 coffees. 6 coffees that I should have had a major issue from. I went through the day without any problems, so there was nothing there to remind me of what I used to go through for 20 years because I didn't feel anything, because a 20-year issue that I had was handled within 12 hours. Now, the third breakthrough came on the next day. So within 48 hours, all the lung damage that I had from the hospital visits over those 2 years, everything they did to me in those hospitals caused so much damage to my lungs. I was having trouble breathing and talking at the same time. Those issues were handled. That issue was handled within 48 hours. So my lungs were functioning at 100% again within 48 hours. That was my first 2 days experience with drinking this stuff. Now, we came back to Australia and I kept drinking this stuff. And by the end of 2015, I got some really good news. The doctors had told me the 2 major issues that were going to be a problem and literally shortened my lifespan dramatically, they couldn't find any sign of. So this next photo is a photo of me the time I got those results, looking a lot healthier and a lot happier. But not only I got those results, all the injuries from playing sports from over 35 years ago that I used to feel every day. We're talking about neck problem and back problem, hip problems, pelvic problems, 80% use of a right shoulder, left hand that couldn't grip too well because I had a major injury with it. All these things had been handled. So 2015 was a fantastic year for me health-wise. Before I go into what this breakthrough is, what these products can do for your body, for the human body, for animals, for any living thing, I just want to go through and share with you how disease starts in the first place. Just gonna have a sip of coffee. Voice is still going. Hopefully, I'm making a bit of sense here. So, every single disease on the planet starts with a damaged cell. If that damaged cell isn't detected, it could divide, it could mutate, and it could spread. And that's how disease starts. If a cell is not detected, a mutated cell, a damaged cell. So one damaged cell, like a healthy cell, can turn into 2 and then 4 and then 8 and then so on. It can start spreading rapidly. It can be something minor or something very major like I had. The thing that detects the damage, these cells in our bodies, are things called redox signaling molecules. The immune system's always there, but the immune system doesn't know where to go or what to do unless it's signaled to do so. These redox signaling molecules are critical in cell-to-cell communication to signal the immune system in to protect the cell or repair a cell or destroy and replace a cell. So these molecules don't do that. They signal the immune system to do that. Unless the immune system can hear where the damage is, the immune system does not know what is going on. These molecules are also key in the regulation of our 12 major systems. They also detect virus, bacteria, infection in the body. And they signal the immune system, the body, to deal with that as well. They reduce oxidative stress. They convert stored fat around organs into energy. These molecules literally run our body. Without them, we would be dead by the end of this presentation. They're critical and crucial to life. So these molecules are life-sustaining. They're foundational. to life. Now, as children, we're producing these molecules in abundance. And if you've got children, if you had children, if you've got grandchildren, you know how they're full of energy. They run around all day and we can't keep up with them. They heal and recover very quick. They are producing an abundance of these redox signaling molecules. By the time you get to my age, 50 years old, we only have about 50% production left. And by the time you get to John Allen's age, who's just hit 70, we only have about 10% production left. So anybody who's 70 plus is healing 10 to 20 times slower than what they did at the age of 10 years old. So the great news is after 17 years, and science thought it was impossible, ASEA's scientists have stabilized these molecules outside of the body and put them into these products. This redox supplement with trillions and trillions and trillions of these redox signaling molecules now can top up John Allen or anybody to heal like a 10-year-old every single day. This supplement is unlike any other supplement on the planet. There's no supplement that can get close to what this does for the human body. It's not food, it's not nutrition, it's not a super juice, it is not antioxidants. They are the building blocks for the body. They are the thing that feeds the cells. But the thing that makes all that work are these redox signaling molecules. It's like a house. When you've got a block of land and you want to build a house and you've got the material sitting there, nothing happens to the material to build the house unless you have the labor. These molecules are the labor. So we can put all the food and nutrition and everything in that we want, but without the labor, all that's not going to work. These molecules are the labor for the body. 100% non-toxic, bioactive, and native, not natural, native to the body. Exactly the same molecules that we produce, stable and balanced in every single healthy cell in our bodies. And nothing else on the planet can do what this does for the human body. And thank goodness they got it into a topical gel, because as you saw by my photos, I needed it. Prior to using this product 2.5 years ago, I was quite ugly. So that was my 4th breakthrough. That was the real big one. So we've got the topical gel and we've got the redox supplement that we can top up with. You know, ASEA would be the most precious gift that anybody could ever receive. And thank goodness to this business model behind ASEA. I received a phone call 2.5 years ago. And if I didn't receive that phone call, I wouldn't be here now. If I didn't accept the phone call, I wouldn't be here now. If I didn't accept the gift of ASEA and opened up that present, which was a vehicle to take me back to my health, I wouldn't have been here now. So thank goodness for Bart Cotter calling me and for me accepting his gift and me opening it and using it, that my health's been returned. But not only that, we were struggling financially, obviously, after being very successful in business and losing everything through what I had to go through. Because when you don't work, when you can't work, you don't earn. So I actually started sharing this with people 5 months after my health started being returned in February 2015. And in a very short period of time, it has allowed me to travel the world to share this incredible breakthrough with a lot more people. There is a lot of support when it comes to helping you achieve whatever you want to achieve for your body from these products. As I said, we can't make any promises or claims, and we are going to have some testimonials. So I'll go through and read the disclaimer again. I know we've got Stevie coming on soon to go through additional support for anybody. We expect, or we want people to take these products for at least 3 months. We want results to be seen in people physically, in their results they're getting when they go to the doctors. We want people to understand that this cannot not work in the human body. It is scientifically impossible for this not to work. So that's why we insist on 3 months and taking the correct amount for whatever you want to achieve, for whatever your body is going through. So in saying that, these 2 products, ASEA and Renew 28, are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical condition or disease. I'm going to bring Stevie Aquilina on just to go through some additional support that he's going to go through. And thanks for doing this, Stevie.
Before I go into a few places where I want to show you where you can get some support, I just want to follow up, Dan, and say a few quick things. Number one, as Dan said at the start of this call, this is being called the single greatest scientific healthcare, anti-aging and athletic breakthrough of all time. And there's hundreds of doctors who are working with this stuff. Even though you've never heard of redox healing molecules before, or may have never heard of them until they were brought up by a seer, it doesn't mean that they weren't there. As Dan explained, they're in you. Your body's producing them. So they've obviously been there since the dawn of life. However, scientists only discovered them just over 2 decades ago. Now, in that time, those researchers were awarded Nobel Prizes for their discovery. There's been close to 20,000 scientific peer-reviewed studies that have been done medically and published on these molecules. It's probably one of the fastest growing areas of medical research today, with about 150 studies coming out every single month. Over 1,200 textbooks have been released on these molecules, and university hospitals are pumping in millions of dollars to open up redox research centers to devote more study and time and understanding to these redox healing molecules. It has its own medical journal called Redox Healing and Antioxidants. As I said, with all the doctors that are using this, it's coming out more and more in their clinics because they're getting absolutely unprecedented results with their patients. They're looking at this technology as not only being groundbreaking, but being the missing link in healthcare practice. And doctors and scientific experts are hailing this technology as being is going to be the #1 premier healthcare technology of the future. It's coming out in the media. The American Health Journal did a TV report on this. I've seen numerous talk shows do interviews on this technology. The US edition of the Huffington Post placed it in an article. And we have about close to 250,000 users of this technology as well. So these people are using it from everything to try and keep away the bad health wolves from their door, through to, using it for life altering or lifestyle altering conditions, through to even life worrying conditions, life concerning conditions. And these people, some of these people have had these issues for decades, and they're having those issues disappear by using this technology. So of course it's coming out of the mouths more and more of these, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Everyone's going to find about this anyway. Everyone. It's only a matter of when and who tells them. So most people I talk to think it's a good idea to find out about it first. Now, if you're thinking, well, if this is such a huge healthcare breakthrough, and I mean breakthrough, we're not just using the word breakthrough to try and create hype. It is literally a breakthrough, because what I mean by that, it's not a drug, it's not a hormone, it's not a synthetic chemical, it's not a vitamin, mineral, antioxidant formula, secret herbs, spices, exotic berries, fancy juices, super shakes, essential oil, magic magnets, astronaut beds, the list goes on. And but this is an entirely new body of science. And if you look at this for the first time, or relatively the first time, you're thinking, well, if it's so big, why am I not hearing about this from my doctor? Good question. I asked exactly the same thing. I thought, why? Like Dan Doyle calling me up and telling me about this, and I'm not hearing about it from a regular healthcare broadcast. And when I looked into answering that question, it's not that I didn't trust Dan, but I found the answer very interesting. And it was never supposed, this technology was never supposed to be shared in fashion. It was supposed to be strictly distributed through the pharmaceutical industry only. However, when this technology was brought forward and shown to the drug companies with that very intention, when those drug companies looked at all of the science behind this technology, and on top of that, saw the hundreds of people who were already using this technology who had some pretty grave conditions, much like what Dan went through, who are having those conditions turned around by using this technology. The drug companies wanted it when they saw all of that. They wanted to pay many, many, many millions of dollars to buy it all up just to shut it all down. They literally said that they wanted it shut down. They wanted everyone taken off it. Because if you can imagine a technology that may very well virtually replace almost anything that they're already selling, that's not very healthy for their bottom line. If you can imagine a technology that would allow you to live healthier, younger, longer, be faster, stronger, focus sharper, recover quicker, heal faster, that would allow you to walk through a door that would bring you to an entirely new era in healthcare history. That's what this is. That's what's being shown to you today. I would hate for anyone to sort of make the mistake of thinking too small of this, because this is too big for you to miss out on. This is way bigger than, I promise you, anything you have ever seen before. So if you're likening it to all these other things that you may not have heard or seen or even used before, please don't do yourself an injustice, and keep an open mind and have a look at this, because this is huge. You know, we have a technology here. I'm just going to tell the truth. Look, the bottom line is this. It's universal truth. You can't ignore it, that with every great breakthrough comes massive opportunity to make a significant difference, but also to make a great living. Now, what's a great living? Okay, sure, you could consider it as income, but what I consider it as this, is that true success comes in the service to others, not at the expense of others. Because service to many leads to greatness. And that's what I define as being a great living. And this company, when I put my business hat on, it really excited me because I saw 4 main key points. Number one, that this was totally unique. You know, it was a true breakthrough, as I said before. It was unlike anything else, which means, you know, when something comes out that's never been done before, it means that there's no one else out there doing it from a business perspective. That means there's no competitors. And then number 2, what really excited me about that point was that this company has no copycats and has no competition, not only because they're unique, but because they're heavily patented. This technology has over 37 lapping patents over it, in fact, which means they won't have any copycats coming along and pulling out the rug from underneath our feet. You know, much like, I suppose, the little bit of a threat Samsung poses to Apple today. All right. That's not going to happen with us. We'll be the only people on the planet who have access to this technology. And number 3, as Dan pointed out, this would be scientifically impossible for it to not work, which means it works for everybody, which means it helps everyone, which means it benefits everybody. Everybody needs to know about this technology for this very good reason. Out of everything that we are deficient in our health across this planet, there would be 5 main things. And 2 of those 5 main things would be a tied first place. Number 1, nutritional deficiencies. Speak to any health expert and they will tell you that a huge part of our health problems comes from nutritional deficiencies. But number 2 would be redox deficiencies. Now, you and I and everyone on this call, you know, and almost across this whole planet can get good quality nutritional products from hundreds of vendors, whether it be whole foods or whether it be supplements. But there's only one place on planet Earth that you can get redox sealing molecules from. And, you know, that's a big part of this opportunity. Another big part of this opportunity is the timing that we're in. There is a sweet spot, I've been taught, in timing. And I used to think it was pre-launch. I used to think if you got into a ground floor opportunity with a company that was just coming up, that looked very promising, that would be the time to get in, because I was told you'd have a first mover's advantage, you'd have early adopters benefits, you get into the market first, which means the rest of the market has to follow you, and that's where all the money is made. And that would be true if you were one of the lucky ones to come out of a pre-launch phase. You'd have a 2%, by the way, 2% success rate of pulling that off, because 98% of businesses who go into pre-launch fail. But here's a company that is post-launch, therefore post-risk. And what I mean by that is they've been operating for 7 years. They started off profitable in year 1 with 0 debt. No company in this industry does that. That's unheard of. They own all of their facilities, office and manufacturing. They own all of their own staff. They've turned over, you know, nearly $500 million worth of products since then. They're at nearly $100 million per annum now. And any business analyst will tell you once you hit that $100 million per annum mark, it's 20% consistent growth minimum. Consistent growth thereafter, 20%. And in 5 years, they're projected by business analysts to be a $1 billion company. So here's a company that is not pre-launch. Therefore, it is post-risk, but pre-momentum. And what do I mean by pre-momentum? If you went out and spoke to 100 people, you'd be lucky if one of those people told you what redox sealing molecules are. And if they knew what redox sealing molecules are, I bet you $100 that they don't know that we have them. And that's your opportunity. Most of the world doesn't know about this yet. So if you ever wanted to be in the right place at the right time, I assure you this is it. This is the sweet spot. I've never seen all the stars aligned in perfect formation like I have with the strategic advantages that are behind this opportunity, not only for your health, but for the welfare and the benefit and the wealth of others as well. So, you know, when Dan mentioned, I think Dan hopefully mentioned at the start, there were 6 reasons people have a look at this. I was all 6 reasons. So it wasn't hard for me to do my homework and want to get to know this better. Now, although we're all in business here for ourselves, excuse me, I assure you, none of us are in business by ourselves. We have people around every corner waiting for you with an outstretched arm to hold your hand every step of the way, who have a personal interest, a vested interest in your personal and professional success. So you should never feel alone. There's always somewhere to go when you need a hand. There's plenty of people on this call like Dan Doyle, John Allen, Tom Emil Croucher, Sandy Reed, Maria Hopwood. There's great people even not on this call all over the place that you can turn to, but these people do need time off from time to time. Even the Danny Doyle sleeps at least 1 hour a day with his eyes open, I'm sure. No less than that though. No more than that though. So I want to show you some of the places virtually where you can get some help wherever you are, whenever you are, so that you can get the help that you're after. So a great place to share with people, or if there's anyone on this call that wants to validate any of the answers we're giving them today from the questions you may pose, I want to point out amazingmolecules.com. It's a great website where you can go and get more information. There's lots of great videos down the bottom here and documents that you can read. But the video at the top is the best place to start. It's called Discover ASEA. It goes for 22 minutes. It does a great job of explaining what redox healing molecules are, what they do, what the breakthrough is that ASEA has achieved, why you're not hearing about this from your doctor, and the opportunity that is in the background that is very much responsible for making sure that not only you, but all of your loved ones find out about this as well. And they all deserve to know about it. So, bless that opportunity, bless that business. Look, if you're not interested in the business, or you have someone that's not interested in the business, I would say this is still the best place to send them, and only ask them to watch the first 12 minutes of the video. But what you'll find is, just like everybody else, once they see what this is, they will want to see the rest and how everyone that they know is going to find out about it too. So that's amazingmolecules.com. For more scientific validation, ASEAscience.com is an awesome directory that you can use to look up all of the world-class scientific institutes and universities that are independent to ASEA, who are doing third-party studies on ASEA's products. And they're validating that we do in fact have those exact same molecules that all of those medical peer reviews are talking about, that the product is safe and how it is performing. And they're coming up with really, really astonishing results. So that's ASEAscience.com, and also ASEAscience-based-medicine.com, another great directory to go and look at all of those independent studies. The redoxdoc.com is an independent website run by a doctor who is also independent to ASEA, called Dr. Robinson Ward. He is a world authority and expert on redox signaling molecules. And he does a great job here at very simply explaining, so even a knucklehead like me can understand it, the key role that redox reactions not only play in our body, but also what role it plays in relation to all sorts of conditions, medical and health concerns. So Dr. Robinson Ward, as I said, he's independent to the company ASEA. However, he very much knows about them and their technology and gives it his highest approval. So, but this is a totally independent website where you can do some great homework and receive some education on redox healing molecules. Look, if you're choosing to go on a mission with us to have an impact, to make a difference, to better people's lives, be a force for good in the world, to make a great living by becoming a success, being in the service of others, because service to many leads to greatness, then let me be the first to congratulate you on making one of the best decisions of your life. Because as you go through your time with this company, you will be changing lives, and therefore it would be impossible for your life not to change as well. Your life will never look the same from here on out by choosing to go on this venture with us. And you will have the best time of your life, and it'll be one of the most rewarding things you've ever done. I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. So here's a great website to support you in that decision. It's ateamsupport.com. It has a website a password to access this website. It is associate with a capital A. The first thing that I would recommend you do is sign up to the newsletter so that you can get all of the news and updates and what's going on. And then there's 3 simple things that you want to make major attention to, not only for yourself, but the people that you bring into the ASEA community as well. step one, you want to help a new person get as much product as they require, and then have them use it properly so that they can get the best result as quickly as possible. And step one is all about that. If you click here, you'll get product usage guide videos that will teach you how to best use these technologies. Step two is all about sharing the caring. It's about giving other people the opportunity to discover this great breakthrough just as you have been given the great opportunity to. So in here in step two, if you click there, you'll get lessons on how to properly invite people to have a look at ASEA, what you should share with them for them to have a look at, and when. And look, hey, look, you know, the effect we have on others is the greatest currency there is, folks. And ASEA, I promise you, is one of the best things on in this planet that you could share. You know, and Danny's a walking, talking testimony of that, and I have hundreds of stories that would back that up too. Now, step three is about ongoing education, and I'm obsessed. I refuse an average life, so I am obsessed with becoming more. You know, not just so I can have more, but mostly for me, it's because I want to feel like that I can give more. All right. So ongoing education is so important. It's the best investment that you can make, the investment in yourself. So in step three, you'll be able to find, you know, all of the conference calls and webinars and special live events run both by the leadership and also by the corporate team that is totally all about helping you to grow so that you can grow your abilities, so that you have great abilities for others, and then in turn you can grow your organizations. It's not about what you have that makes you valuable, about what you become that makes you valuable, because of course that's going to determine what you can not only be for yourself, but what you can be for others. Now I want to point out the daily charge up call. This is one of the best places to sort of, you know, sort of this is a bad expression for a vegetarian, but meat and potatoes of your education sustenance. The daily charge up call is in America, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And the phone number is there on the screen with the access code to get in. However, if you're not in America and it's at a silly o'clock time in the morning or evening for you to catch it, then a great place to go and watch the last 3 days worth of archived calls, chargeupcall.info. And all these calls start with a testimonial and then a quick minute or 2 minute explanation of what the ASEA breakthrough is, and then followed up by some education on how you can become a better facilitator for getting this breakthrough out to others. Okay, so if you're on Facebook, then we have a private associate-only group called Dream Struggle Victory. Cheer your team here. If you're not a member, speak to your sponsor and they will make you a member. Let me just share one other thing here with you. I want to thank Danny Doyle so much for doing these calls. They mean the world to me.
So yeah, we've only got a little bit of time now, around about 15 minutes before we get on to the next call. So what I'll do, I'll just call for any compliant testimonials without mentioning any conditions. I know you've got a phenomenal one from your team, Stevie. Love to hear that. Maria, I'd love to hear about what Lee experienced, your partner. Sandy, Armin had a phenomenal result, who's a very good friend of yours. Now, just before we go into these testimonials, just to reiterate that ASEA and Renew 28 are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical condition or disease. So maybe, Stevie, if you can start with your best, which is a more phenomenal one than mine, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, look, I've got lots of stories, but yeah, this would definitely be my most amazing experience. In September last year, I was introduced to a lady who'd been suffering from a terrible cellular condition for 11 years. And she was getting the kind of treatment that was, that is designed to destroy these abnormal cells. However, this type of treatment, unfortunately, at the same time, damages or kills all of the normal and healthy cells at the same time. She'd been battling this for, as I said, 11 years. And unfortunately, she wasn't getting any better. She was trying everything that the doctors were throwing at her, including this very harsh treatment, and all sorts of, secret herbs and spices, as their heritage is of Chinese descent. So they were trying all those traditional methods as well, all sorts of supplements and super juices. And unfortunately, she was losing the battle. So she was not only becoming more ill because of the illness, but the treatment was making her, even more ill as well. So she gave up and started refusing the treatment. She thought, what's the point? The doctors gave up. They said there's nothing that we could do for her anymore. This lady degenerated so rapidly, she was put into palliative care, and the doctors believed that she would have, at that time I was introduced to her, only perhaps maybe have 10 days left on our great earth. Families started coming in from all over the place to pay their respects and say their goodbyes. Her daughter, so this was in September last year, her daughter was meant to be married in that coming November, but ended up getting married in the chapel in the hospital just so that she could have her mother present for the marriage. The only person that hadn't given up on this lady was her husband. So I introduced, actually through somebody in my team who just had the courage to open their mouth and speak to him about it. They introduced him to me. I introduced the molecules to them, and they started using them right away. After a few days, the lady, according to the doctors, was becoming stronger. So they lowered all of the, various steroids and painkillers and things that were meant to be making her comfortable because she didn't need as many of them anymore. A few days later, same thing. She was getting stronger, dialed down the medications. A few days later, same thing. 30 days later, she was released from hospital in full strength. And then, maybe a week or two after that, got some blood analysis done and could barely find. Apparently her bloods, this is what I was told, her bloods were normal. And I questioned, well, what do you mean by normal? And they said, well, normal like your blood, if it's normal. And then, this was a lady, I just want to put things into perspective, who used to have to, on her good days be in a walking frame, but most days was in a wheelchair. She was very, very ill. But she just kept getting stronger. Now, in November of last year, she went to her daughter's actual wedding, and that made even a big, tough guy like me shed a few tears of joy. This lady is still with us here today in tremendous health. She no longer requires her wheelchair or her walking frame. In fact, she drives herself. She goes out shopping by herself, and she's living a full life.
That is an incredible testimonial. That blows mine out of the water. I wasn't in that situation, so it took it to the next level and literally brought somebody back from literally 10 days in palliative. Thanks, Stevie. Thank you for opening your mouth, and just because you did, that happen. Maria Hopp would love to hear from you because your partner Lee had major skin issues for a long time.
Hi everybody, Maria Hopwood here from Sydney. Just to let you know how I came about to find out about these lovely and wonderfully amazing molecules. My partner and I retired from the corporate world about 2 years ago, and decided to travel. Unfortunately, that was not to be. He did have a small little something on his arm that he used to be treated with, regular, everyday cream. And we were planning to go away up north for about 3 months or so, and he developed a very severe skin condition. His belly became very distant. He's a very fit man. He became very distant and very hard. He was very uncomfortable in so many ways. Well, I then decided to go on this particular journey of searching for a solution, which I found none. I looked everywhere. I looked at conventional medicine and natural medicines. I looked at anything you wanted to put in front of me. You told me it will help. I tried. I even learned how to ferment pawpaw seeds. So I had this guy covering pawpaw seed stuff, walking around the house hoping that he will get better. A very good friend of mine, he saw the stress that I was going through, because at the same time, and I was looking after my dad, who's got another severe condition as well. And and I'm still looking after him. He's still around, thank goodness, thanks to the molecules. But again, my friend said, can you please go and see my friend down in Port Kembla, which is about 3 hours away from here, who knew a little bit about natural therapies that perhaps could help Lee, my partner. Anyway, we did go a number of times, although there was nothing that could help him. On the last day that we went down, Alison said he had tried this. It's just arrived. It was the molecules in the 2 forms that it comes in. And take it, as it says on the bottle, put the stuff on the gel on the skin and it'll be fine. I've got a background in Chinese medicine, so I went home and researched it. I was astounded as to what it actually was. So I then looked for Daniel, contacted Daniel, and I spoke to him, explained to Daniel what Lee had, and had it for 40 years. Although in the last few weeks it had become really quite severe. Daniel, I am ever so grateful and so appreciative to you for actually saying to me, take this, get him to have half a bottle and rub this gel all over the skin and he will be better. He'll get better. Now, understandably, I'm a little bit fiery. I said, why do you think this is going to help? And then he proceeded to tell me the story that you all just heard. So before I left, I turned around and said, Daniel, if this really works, I want to come and talk to you because I will dedicate my life into making sure that everybody knows about this. So off I went. Now this was on Thursday. So I went home and I said to Lee, you got to take this half bottle today now. And then this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do until you get better. Well, that was Thursday. Now, just to go back a little bit, we had booked tickets and accommodation and everything to go away for that length of time the following Tuesday. This is Thursday. And we were going to cancel everything on Friday because there was nothing. He couldn't travel. Anyway, went home. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I actually had to shake him to wake him up because he hadn't been sleeping for weeks. And all of a sudden, he had a really good night's sleep. And he woke up with nothing. He had beautiful skin, just like you guys have got there. His belly had gone down to normal, and he's been normal ever since. He's been on the maintenance dose for a long time now, and loving the fact that these molecules have done for him and what it's done for me. I've got lots of story, but this is enough now. So Daniel, ever so grateful to you for what you're doing for all of us and for giving me the molecules. And Stevie, you're awesome. Thanks so much for actually being on all the calls and making sure that Daniel, we get to see him and hear him and everybody else. So there you go. That's my story. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Maria. Thank you so much. Steve, you can just promote Kayleen and Sandy. We're going to try and get Sandy if we can, or Armin if she's there, just for one more quick compliant testimonial. Let's have a look. Hey, Sandy, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Danny. For some reason, it just quickly, the whole screen shut off and then came back again.
No, that's okay. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes before we got to jump on the next call. But just, I don't know if Armin's there or if you would just want to let us know.
Armin?
Obviously.
Yeah, I'll let Armin just, I'll let Armin sit here.
Hello, guys. Hey, Armin. Hey, Sandy from Clearwater, Florida. Hey, Kayleen. Thanks for coming on. Armin, you know how to tell. Good to see you. You know how to tell a compliant testimonial. I'll leave you with it because you've had an incredible, some incredible results yourself.
Well, tell me about your hair. First thing is, like, I was, I don't know how to keep compliant with this, but I was losing hair in the back, in the nape of my neck. And I went to many naturopaths and many doctors, and they said it's alopecia. They can't do anything about it. And, you know, after spending about $1,000, I thought, oh my God, why am I not using Renew? And I had Renew, and I use it on my face, but I never thought to put it, you know, on my hair, on the back of my neck. So I had one in my purse, one at my bedside table, one by the sofa. I had Renew everywhere spread. So there was, I can't forget not to use it. So every time I thought of it, I just kept rubbing it on the nape of my neck. And, you know, within about 3 months, my hair started growing. I felt a fuzz. And then I told Sandy to take some pictures, take some pictures. So she took pictures. It took about 6 months for it to grow back, but I mean, I just put it on my head everywhere, and it's not greasy, ladies. It's not greasy, so you can't put it on your hair. Your hair is all nice, so it's really, really cool. And the other thing for me is that, you know, I just was like, had stiff kind of knees, joints, or whatever you want to call it. And I was just rubbing Renew 28. You know, anytime I thought of it, I was rubbing it. Like Dr. Silverman said, 3 times in 5 minutes. And I did it far more because I just wanted prevention, wanted my joints to be healthy. I wish I was a spring chicken again, but I'm feeling more like one now. And yeah, and the other thing, I had a
thyroid issue. A thyroid issue. So I mean, with those issues, normally your medication goes up. It doesn't reduce, does it?
Yeah, exactly. My medication, you know, it used to. I've been taking a medication on that for, well, since 1980. I was taking it before my first child was born.
You're 2 years old when you started.
Sorry?
You're
Yes.
2 years old when you started. Yeah, right.
I had a baby at 2. That's a record. Yeah, so now my medication is in house, and I think it's going to go lower. So, you know, I'm just due for blood work, and that's just been amazing. And I feel fantastic. So, you know, people have asked me, like, how long do I take this? Forever and ever and ever. You know, we're not, that's one thing I said I'm certain in my life is that, you know, these molecules are not reducing in nature. So you've got to power your body and you've got to take action. And I said, I can give up food, but I can't give up not having SIA because it's just, it's become such a habit now. I feel lost. I'm thinking, you know, where's the bottle? Where's the bottle? You're looking for it. So, yeah, I'm just truly blessed.
Thanks for sharing that, Armin, and I'm looking forward to seeing you firstly in a few weeks, and your cooking number 2, obviously.
Here's our baby.
Yeah, I know.
Our 15-year-old who's like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and I saw that transition in 7 weeks last year when you guys put him on it, and he was lying around, the big chubby boy who wouldn't do anything, and I saw him turn into a puppy over 7 weeks. It was just incredible.
Yeah. So it's for the plants and animals and people. ASEA is like for a lot of uses, guys. Just use it, experiment with it. Don't be afraid of it, because that's one thing you can't overdose on. That's what I tell myself. I say, you know, I'm feeling tired. I'll just have, you know, a drink of ASEA, and all of a sudden, you know, you're just not tired.
Perfect. Now we've got a call to get on. We're going to listen to Dr. Gary Samuelson. So we're going to, there's a transition now. We're going to finish this call, but anybody who wants to hear from the man himself, Dr. Gary Samuelson, who's stabilized these molecules outside of the body, he's got a live call on right now. You guys are on Zoom. So you've got Zoom downloaded in your device. All you need to do is put into your browser www.ateamwebinar.com and you'll be taken straight into that call. So thanks everybody for coming on to this call. I probably won't physically see you on the next one, but we'll know most of you are on it. So we'll get on to the next call and listen to what Dr. Gary Samuelson has to say. Anybody who's got any more questions or anything to ask, more than welcome to contact us direct, or get on to the next call and we'll answer those questions. We just didn't get time for the Q&A today. Thanks for coming on, guys. See you on the call.